Shannon, please give Mahomes a letter grade.
Skip, given what was at stake, considering they had already lost to the Chargers, Chargers win this game at home. This is a division rival game. If they win this game, they would have swept Kansas City. They would be in a commanding position. They would really be in the catbird seat for the AFC West division title. Mahomes hasn't been, because he set the bar so high, he hasn't been playing at that level. And Justin Herbert, there were conversations being had. Is Justin Herbert as good as Mahomes? Would you take Herbert over Mahomes? And I think Mahomes last night, like, look, this young man is good. Because, Skip, we're going to see this for the next 10 years. This is what you're going to see. You got to appreciate this, because you might not ever see it again. Two guys that can match each other throw for throw in the same division in their prime. And that's what you got an opportunity to see last night. The difference between the two guys, Skip, Herbert has receivers that can make tough, contested catches. They don't have the speed like a Hardman, like a Tyreek, like Pringle, like those guys. But every tough catch, Williams, going up over people, Keenan Allen, Dunlap, those guys can make tough, contested catches.
They can.
Last night, what Mahomes were able to do, Skip, they ran the ball 20 times. And you're like, 20 times? That's nothing. But they ran them enough to keep them honest. And they kept, if you notice, Skip, the first half, everything was short. Everything was short. And they were doing a great job in tackling. And after a while, you see Kelce all of a sudden, that 5-yard route turned into 12. Tyreek's 8-yard route turned into 20. And it started getting further and further down the field. And so for me, I gave him an A. I gave him an A for two reasons, Skip. Fourth quarter and overtime. He wasn't playing well. I thought he was playing well up until, he pumped the ball. Bosa hit him from behind, it comes out. And then after that great stop that the Chiefs defense have, Mahomes comes right back out on the field, Skip, and trying to get it over. And what these quarterbacks will have to understand, these guys are a lot more athletic. We just saw, Skip, the defensive end from Dallas do the same thing to Taylor Heineke. Tip the ball up. You try to get a screen over his head. Last night, Mahomes was trying to get a swing pass to Edwards. Randy Gregory. And they tipped it. These guys are a lot more athletic than you think. And so when you try to touch pass it, they're just going to get a hand up, tip it, and get it to themselves. But, Skip, when he needed to be great, and he needed to be great the last 9 minutes of this ball game, the last 3 real drives that the Chiefs had, he goes 5 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, 2-point conversion. He goes 8 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. He goes 5 plays, 75 yards. He was sensational. He made the throws that he needed to make last night. Tyreek and Travis Kelce, who we talked about, touched on earlier, Skip, they were sensational with run after the catch. And basically Mahomes said, look, it's us 3. We're going to win or lose this ball game, because it got to the point he's looking for Kelce or he's looking for Tyreek. And I was beginning to wonder, because Tyreek started the overtime, Skip, on the bench. And then all of a sudden you see him hobble out there on the field, get a first down, and then Kelce turned the lights out of the building. I gave him an A because this is him. 410 yards on the road of the division rival, a team that had already beat you earlier this year, and you absolutely had to have it. The last 9:30 of the ball game, and Skip says this is the money. Fourth quarter and overtime. He had 3 touchdowns, 197 yards, but he also had a 32-yard run to set up that 7-yard touchdown that he threw to Travis Kelce. I gave him an A. And here's a slump season for Patrick Mahomes. With 3 games to go, Skip, he has 4,052 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. And that's an off year for him.
You done?
A.
A?
Yes.
Wow. Well, let me preface everything I'm about to say in that I'm disqualified. I didn't FaceTime with Patrick Mahomes. I didn't FaceTime with Kelce or Tyreek or Clark Hunt or Hank Stram. God rest his soul. I didn't FaceTime up in heaven with the great.
So you trying to say I'm biased or something?
I'm saying you're really biased. You've completely lost all objectivity, because I got to get me a new TV, because my old black and white, I don't know, it just starts to fade out and get fuzzy, foggy late at night. I don't know what I was watching. I'm going to give Patrick Mahomes, who once upon a time, not that long ago, was the MVP of this league, and he was the Super Bowl MVP, so I'm going to grade him by a little higher curve. I will give him a C+ for last night, and I'll give him the plus because he did close. I will give you close. The problem was, I wasn't blown away by either of these young gun quarterbacks last night. I'm sorry, I just wasn't, because both of them were off as much as they were on. And Patrick Mahomes, as usual, as he's been much of the year, was often off. And it shakes me, it jars my eyes, because he has lost some confidence. He's lost some swagger. He's definitely lost some accuracy and some faith in the system that used to make him a superstar, as in no look behind the back, left-handed, between the legs kind of passes. And he doesn't quite have the faith in those throws that he used to because the league has figured him out. I think he got a huge break last night because Derwin James went out pretty early because he was iffy on a hamstring anyway. And so that is their best defensive player. I know Bosa is a great pass rusher, but the guy who makes them go, the guy who ignites them is that sort of monster back in the middle of the field who's everywhere breaking up every other play. So that was a huge break. So can we see a couple of plays from Mahomes that would disqualify him from being an A last night, giving an A grade? And by the way, his QBR was 74. If he had a 90-plus QBR, you could argue A, but when you're at the 74 range, there's no A.
Not when you get a walk-off.
Okay. So if we could see what he called the one that he dirted, if we could see, it was actually 4th and 1 at the 2-yard line of the LA Chargers. This was 1:50 left in the third quarter. And Mahomes has Mecole Hardman on a sweet little play where he went in motion, then back in motion, and just outran the DB all the way to the goal line. And as Mahomes said after the game, I freaking dirted it.
Yeah.
And I don't see him during the MVP year. I didn't see it throw like that. I don't know.
He did the shotgun. He knows he has him open. He doesn't really have a good grip on the ball. You see him he's trying to get a grip.
He missed the laces, but it happens a lot on plays like that. And most of the great ones just go ahead and figure it out anyway and throw enough of a spiral that it at least gets within catch radius, and it's 6 points. So you just left 7 points. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe 8 points. You left them on the table right there, right? Then you mentioned the interception. They're backed up 3rd and 3 at their 9-yard line, and Nwosu gets this one. If we could see, this is 9:39 left in the fourth quarter. This was a huge play in the game, and it's just careless. It's just lackadaisical. It's a little too cool for school, and you just didn't get the ball up. And during his MVP year, I didn't see plays like that. But that was a huge play in the game because you gave them a one-play touchdown that put them ahead 21-13. So don't give me A. I'm sorry. If you want to go A- maybe something, but you can't give him an A for those 2 plays.
Well, considering that you gave Tom Brady an A last week because he walked
about Tom Brady's
but I'm just
Patrick
saying,
Mahomes last night.
Okay, you gave your guy what you gave him. I gave my guy what I gave him.
I don't remember giving him.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Because you said he walked it off. And that's little Brett Perriman. Brett Perriman, he's been on 5 teams. And Tom Brady found him.
Rashad
Perriman, yeah. You did that, right? That was you. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But let's just stay here because, again, we're not going to go A because here's the bottom line to this game that did not happen in the Brady game. Obviously, the Los Angeles Chargers lost that game a lot more than Patrick Mahomes won the game. Without all the Charger blunders on 4th downs, you're not even in the ball game.
Do you hold that against the Chargers? Do you hold that against the Chiefs or the Chargers?
You could get blown out. Well, you hadn't played well enough to go match for match. You hadn't been able to match points because they just kept driving it down your throat, but they kept getting it in positions where they didn't cash. And by the way, I prefaced this on Brandon Staley, the head coach, young head coach. I have no problem with going for it. His position after the game was, we knew who the other guy was over there, and he's not that guy this year, but he has been that guy.
So why are you basing it on what he was in the past as opposed to what he is in the present?
Well, even if it's Taylor Heineke over there, I don't mind going for 4th down on these 4th and shorts. But you got to cash them. If you got plays and you got the player that you trust, where you say, I got this. I'm going to literally throw it down your throat or run it down your throat. I don't have any problem because it sets the tone for your squad. It shows them, it sends a message. We ain't afraid of no Chiefs. We own this division now. It's ours. Watch, this is our house, and we're going to take over this game and literally force it right down your throat by going for it and converting all these 4th downs.
So what happens so if going for it, converting it shows that you're not afraid of them, what happens when you go for it and you don't make it? What does that show?
Okay. Well, obviously, if you don't, you're going to lose.
Okay.
And they did. Okay, so that's what happened. So if we could see what started happening, and this was the most unfortunate play of the night, but it's the Parham play, the Donald Parham play that starts off the game. And this is 4th and 5 from the 5. And God bless him. I hope he's going to be okay. It was pretty scary. But even though Herbert throws rockets down here, and they're hard to hang on to because there's a lot of mustard on that throw. He takes nothing off throws from 5 yards out, and it's hard to hang on to on the back line of the goal because it's coming like fury. It's going to go right through your hands. And I'm not sure what happened to Donald Parham, but he hit his head on the turf.
Yeah, it was the CD Lamb place, yeah.
And except he was going forward.
Right.
It wasn't a whiplash.
It was like he hit to the side.
Like CD's going straight backwards and does the old car wreck whiplash, you know, and bangs it on the back of his head. But he hit kind of on the side of his head, and all of a sudden his arms are locking up.
Well, he's totally unconscious then. That's when
frightening, you know, and he looked like his eyes had rolled back into his head. So God bless him. He went to the UCLA Medical Center, and they said he was in stable condition. Okay. I hope that's a good sign. Right. But my point is, you just left 7 points on the table. Right. If he hangs on, which he did for a second until he hit his head, I thought he was just going to hang on to it. And it's all of a sudden the ball just kind of squirted out and rolled across the turf. DB celebrating like made a great play. Well, he just couldn't hang on to the ball and hit his head on the turf. And I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite like that.
I've never seen a play. Obviously, we just saw CD, but he didn't go unconscious like this kid. But I had never seen a guy almost have a touchdown, concuss himself, and drops it. I had never seen that.
Oh, okay. So now we go to the Justin Herbert interception, and it comes with 5:22 in the first quarter. And again, it's an unfortunate play for Justin Herbert. It gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. That happens, but your guy hung on. And all of a sudden, you got a short field goal that you cash in on. So there's 3 points that they just gave you three right there, right?
Right.
Okay. Then we go to your favorite player, or your favorite whipping boy, or your favorite target on this show. Number 4, good old number 49.
Sorensen.
Yeah, Sorensen. And it's 4th and goal from the 1 at the end of the first half. And Sorensen he's on sort of a cautious blitz, dare I say, where he's just kind of coming, but also just kind of sizing up what's happening. Right. And he's kind of almost spying, and he just bats the ball down. Well, that's 7 more points got left right on the table, right? That's the one you could have just taken the field goal, right?
Okay. I will concede, okay, if you want to go for the first one, Skip, 4th and 5, okay, fine. But in that situation right there, just go ahead and take the 3 points. And you're straight.
Okay.
You're good.
And obviously, at the end of the night, mathematically, if you had +3, you would have been in real good shape.
Yes, because now you force Patrick Mahomes to go get a touchdown, get the onside kick, and go back down and get the ball in field goal range.
All right. It was 4th and goal from the 1-yard line, and Brandon Staley's saying, I know we can get 1 yard. Well, your quarterback has to make the right play. And if you see Sorensen, you can't risk it because he is cagey. He is wily. Right. He is a veteran who knows how to make that kind of play. And it was kind of a stealth job on him.
He knew you see how he cautiously skipped because he didn't want to run the risk of you trying to pump fake me, get him up in there and get around the edge.
No, he did not. So was that not a huge – that you could argue that was the turning point of the whole night, right?
Just take the 3.
Okay, take the 3. So now we go into the third quarter, and they face a 4th and 2 at your Kansas City's 28-yard line. And so you've got a field goal sitting there if you really want to do it. If you really want to do it, but he says, no, I got a quarterback who is equal to that quarterback in my humble estimation, says Brandon Staley, and he lets him throw it, and he tries to jam it into my man Jared Cook, who's haunted my Cowboys for years, and Nick Bolton, who can play now. He's coming on because that defense is really coming on.
Yeah, he's played well.
Yeah, so he just comes in, and that's just a football play, man.
Yes.
That's just, he broke it up. He sniffed it, he jumped it, and he got an arm in and broke it up. Yeah. Well, that's just too good. Like, hats off. Yeah. You know, I tip my cap to you.
He read the yogi. It's a stick for the offense. They call it a yogi to the defense. Well, he read it, Skip. He settled his feet like that. You know he's breaking out. I'm driving.
All right. So there's I wrote that up as 3 points cost, right?
Okay. So that's 6 points.
All right. Okay. Well, I got a whole long line of these. Okay. Let's do one more. So now we got Joshua Kelly on this play down near the goal line. What is it? It's 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. This is 11:02 in the fourth quarter, and he tries to go up and over. He's kind of their banger back, and he loses the football. I'm telling you, those kind of plays, you lose the football game. Right. Because this is a gimme some points. I mean, it's like a gimme 3.
Are we sure? Because he hadn't gone for it thus far, Skip, in the goal-to-go situation. So he hadn't gone for it. He hadn't kicked the field goal yet. Okay, he hadn't kicked the field goal yet. So are we sure he's going to take a field goal here?
All I'm sure of is that it was -7 points,
Yes.
right? Okay, so I'm going to add up all these blunders. I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to the par and play, that's -7. I'm going to go to the tipped interception, that's -3. Then we're going to go to the Sorensen batted ball, it's -7.
You going to give him 7? Just give him the 3, Skip. You give him the 3. Say you take the field goal.
All right, Bolton is 3, and the fumble, to me, the fumble's 7. Whatever you want to do. Okay, by your math, it was 21 total points. But whatever, it's 20-plus points.
Thank you.
You are literally leaving right in the middle of the table in a game that went to overtime.
Right.
Boy, that's a lot of points. A lot of opportunities.
But if you look at Kansas City, look at what they did to Green Bay at home. They only scored, what, a handful of points? 19? Cowboys, 19. It's not like like you said, and if this was 18-19, I would concede. Skip, you can't kick field goals and beat them. But teams have been kicking field goals this year and beating the Chiefs because the offense hasn't been up to par. Skip, okay, why are you throwing it? You running up and down the field. No Chris Jones, Skip, they had almost 200 yards rushing. You at one point, so only one time do you want to try your running back.
Yep.
Eckler, they ran the ball one time with Eckler. Eckler runs the ball right into the end zone.
How was the game built? What was the hype master saying?
I get all that, but Herbert against Mahomes.
It's future versus future,
yeah,
right?
I get it. I get
the two youngest, greatest guns, right?
Yes.
This is the future of the National Football League. So Staley is thinking, I got a quarterback who equals that quarterback, and I'm going to take over this division. So when push comes to shove, I'm going to put the game and the season in the hands of Justin Herbert.
Yes.
And that happened. Or didn't happen.
But Skip, we've seen a lot of this, and it worked. If you remember the first game they played, Skip, all the times they went for it on 4th down and they catching touchdowns, and they picking up first downs, and sometimes you can get seduced by that. But the law of averages says now, if you get X many, you're only going to get so many in a season. The law of averages has to catch up with you sometimes, Skip. You can't be 15 for 15 on 4th down conversions. No. The likelihood of that happening is not very realistic. So what happens in a game of this magnitude where it's so close? You kick a field goal. That if you take one field goal, Skip, you probably win this game. Because now instead of 7, with Mahomes needing 7 to tie you, he needs 10.
Okay.
And somehow he got to get a touchdown and an onside kick in order to do that.
Okay, if you cash all your gambles, I've got it at plus 24 points. Yeah. You win in a route.
Well, yeah, but Skip, you can't look at it plus 20. You can't. if every drive that you got down inside the 20, you scored a touchdown, but you can't do it like that.
Okay,
Skip.
but the analytics will show you it's about 50% on 4th down. It's a little under 50, but it's close enough to 50 that you should go for it more than not go for it.
But Skip, if that's the case, why do I need a coach? If I'm only going to listen to the analytics and not the feel of the game and not my gut.
Well, you definitely need the feel of the game.
Well, clearly he didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think he did. I think he's just saying, I got the goods over here. We're going to take this over. We're going to send you home with your tails between your legs.
I've seen Coach Belichick with Tom Brady so many times take the field goal. I've seen him do that. We just watched him do it last week on a 4th and a half a foot in a windy condition. He said, oh, you should be able to pick a half a yard up.
Well, we just watched him take the ball completely out of his young quarterback's hands and say, I'm going to let you throw 3 passes tonight.
And what did analytics say? Analytics was saying they should go for it on 4th down. Analytics said they should do this. Coach Belichick says, not in what my experience has taught me.
Yep.
And what my feel is at this game at this moment says, take the points.
Okay. By the way, Kansas City's defense, very quietly over this 7-game winning streak, is 2nd in the NFL in points allowed. 2nd in points allowed. Over the last, I'm just talking about 7 games. I'm not even sure who was first, but I know they're 2nd.
But if you think about it, Skip, who else has a 7-game win streak? Isn't it the Patriots?
Yep. Probably is. It would probably be the Patriots. Okay, so very quietly, that unit has risen. Okay?
The thing that I can say about them, Skip, they were getting run on. The guys were making big catches.
Yeah.
But when Mahomes scored that touchdown to tie the game, there was a minute and a half left. They had to both their backs because a field goal beats you.
I agree.
So I've got to keep you, and I said the mark of any great offense, defense, whatever the case may be, can you get done what you need to get done when you have to?
Okay.
Because Patrick Mahomes, we say, we believe Patrick and this offense is really good. Well, how good are you if you can't go down and get a game-time field goal? If the defense, if you building better, if Skip says, hey, y'all the 2nd in points allowed, we'll keep them out of field goal range.
Okay.
And they did that.
Now I'm going to close my case for why Patrick Mahomes deserved a C+. He threw for 410 yards. Guess how many? You can pull up your jersey if you want to, because it's going to be about
No. We don't worry about yards after catch.
Guess how many were yards after catch out of 410? I guessed 200, checked it out, 218, 218 yards after catch. A lot of them were because of 87.
Yeah.
Because he was just spinning and winning, man.
Mm-hmm.
He just catches it, spins, and escapes. And once he escapes, he can run. As he said, I look like I was 22. Well, he did.
Right.
And even the last breakaway touchdown, the walk-off, it's a lot of yak. You know, he's just yakking all the way up the field.
But you know why it's like that, Skip? Because you're going to play this shell coverage, which is too deep. They're going to keep everything in front of it. So the thing is, that's the Chargers' fault.
Okay.
If you play that coverage, Skip, you're keeping everything in. You got to get the guy on the ground.
Right. I got it. Okay, last quick point. The reason I'll give him a plus, not just a C, the play of the night from Patrick Mahomes, to me, was with legs, not arm. And you mentioned it, but it's the 32-yard escape by Patrick Mahomes.
You see how he running?
You know what? He is misleadingly fast.
Look at that. He put his head down. He took his head. That's the drive phase.
Okay.
He was in that drive phase, Skip. That's what that is, a drive phase.
So,
watch him drop his head. He about to dig on that, you say.
I like him a lot more scrambling and rolling. He is a scrambler and a rollout artist. When he's on the roll, on the run, sideways, either way, he's much more lethal.
But you can't, but Skip, know that.
So the idea is you can't let him out.
Thank
you.
you.
Just can't let him out. I don't care what you do.
You can't
and he's not Lamar, but he can hurt you as much as Lamar does. He looks like he weighs 240 to me, somewhere up in there.
Yes.
And once he gets in motion, man, it cooks. He can go.
And the thing is, Skip, you playing the coverage with everybody because you can't worry about him. You got to worry because they got so much speed. Everybody has their back to Mahomes. So he jumps out the window. Nobody knows.
And it's a killer because it's 32 yards.
Yes.
And you know what the Chargers are saying? My God.
Yes.
We had him and we didn't have him.
But to your point, Patrick Mahomes is much more dangerous outside of the pocket, either rolling left or rolling right. The one thing you want to do is keep him in the pocket. So Skip, you're gonna have to keep. You see what they do with Lamar? They blitz Lamar, keep his butt in the pocket. We're gonna make you make a quick decision. Well, Mahomes, you better make him pat the ball.
Yeah.
But if you don't, but see, Skip, now you got that cover 2 shell and you get guys running around. They see him scrambling. Now I've lost my man. But to do what he did in that moment, Skip, considering the degree of difficulty that he had, the 9:30 to Skip, last 9 minutes and 30 seconds of the game in overtime, 197 passing yards with 3 touchdowns. That's big time. Wouldn't you say that was Brady-esque?
Yakety yak yak.
Don't do that, Skip. Hold on. What did Perriman do? Was that a 58-yard touchdown bomb?
No.
You just told me it was a 3-yard route.
Well, he runs 4.25.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.